All right, joining us now, I'm delighted he's with us, State Rep Richard Corcoran from Tallahassee, on what the State House and the governor together may do in the aftermath of this horrific shooting in Parkland, Florida. 17 dead. We're learning more about the response and what happened leading up to the shooting, but by no means do we have a full investigation and a full report and a full accounting. Representative Corcoran, thanks for joining us today. Where does a push for changes in gun ownership, gun purchasing stand as of today?
The three big things that are being discussed are raising the age limit to 21, the 3-day wait, and banning bump stocks are the three that are being discussed.
The president has already expressed his favor of doing the bump stocks. He said if the Congress doesn't do it, I'm going to try to do it by an executive order, which I'm not sure he can do that or not, but he will try to do that. On the question of raising the age to 21 for the purchase of these AR-15 style weapons, which people have to understand are semi-automatic weapons, and 9mm are semi-automatic weapons, 38s are semi-automatic weapons, and the assault weapons ban that we had for 10 years in place still didn't cover a whole bunch of different types of weapons that look like the AR-15, the Armalite, but function basically the same, but look different. It was very strange how that all went down. But Representative Corcoran, what is the thinking behind raising the age when indeed we still haven't gotten to the bottom of what happened leading up to this shooting?
Well, basically, and just a background, Laura, I'm a NRA member. I'm a A-rated legislator, and
I'm not criticizing you. I'm just trying to get information.
No, and I'll just walk you through my thinking, just so you know my background. I'm a concealed weapons carry holder. And
awesome.
What we really want to do is solve the problem. And the best way, the president has said it, he's absolutely correct. And in our bill, we have the first of its kind, statewide, absolute game-changing and this insanity of gun-free zones marshal program, where we allow, you have to be a sworn law enforcement officer qualified in our marshal program. It's 130 hours of training, more training than law enforcement officers when it comes to firearms, pistols, active shooter, shooting simulation, defensive tactics. All of that is more than a law enforcement officer. They voluntarily enter into this program. They become marshals, and yes, they're certified teachers. They can teach too, but literally they're sworn law enforcement officers. When that happens, when we have in every single school 5, 10, 15, 20 marshals, none of these cowards are coming into school, and if for some reason they do, they're going to be executed on the spot. That's the game-changing legislation. So how do we get that? How do we become the first state to end gun-free zones in our most vulnerable area, our K-12 environment? Well, unfortunately, I got a Senate, even though it's 25-15 Republican majority, they haven't even heard my banning sanctuary cities bill. Won't even bring it up for a hearing.
Why is that? Why is that?
Great question, Laura. I mean, I've gone over there. I've talked to them. I've done everything. They're Republicans in name only. That's why. They're not real Republicans. They're not real conservatives. And all the bill says is that if you are a criminal, illegal immigrant, you have to cooperate with the federal authorities and hold that individual for 48 hours. 48 hours. They won't even hear it. Won't even hear the bill. And so now we get to this. How do I end gun-free zones? How do I, which is a huge NRA, big Second Amendment guy.
Yep.
How do I end gun-free zones, which is more important to me?
But this wasn't a gun-free zone, was it? We had an armed deputy there who's a resource officer from Broward, correct?
All schools are gun-free zones, except if and only if they have a school resource officer.
And how many do in your state? How many do in your state, just for factual purposes?
I'd say we have about 2,500 schools, and we maybe have 1,000 resource officers. I'd have to check on the exact number, but we're way under. Tons and tons of schools. Almost every elementary school doesn't have a school resource officer. And so the thought process is how do we get this? how do we get game-changing legislation that would have saved those kids' lives? And so that's where there's, what some of the and the reality is in Florida, all handguns, 55, whatever, 60% of all guns already have a 3-day wait and already have a 21 age limit. All we're doing is applying it to long guns.
So a regular, if you want to
do that.
Yeah, hold on a second. You're going fast. So I'm a simple person, Representative Corcoran. You got to talk slow for me. I'm not, I'm not as quick as you.
I've read your book. I've read some of your books. You're not simple.
So if you're in Florida today and you have no criminal record, you have no record of your having been civilly committed for mental, whatever, confinement. We can't say mental institution anymore, right? Is that politically incorrect? But okay. So you haven't been civilly committed against your will or by another party, by a third party. You can go into a gun store, correct? And you can purchase a 9mm, let's say you want a SIG, 6-hour 9mm. You can purchase that at age 18, correct?
No, you cannot.
You can't. You have to be 21 to get a SIG?
Yes, any handgun without a concealed weapons permit, without a license. The only people who can purchase it and take it out of the store that day are people with concealed weapons permits. Any other law-abiding citizen under 21 or over 21 has to wait.
Okay, right.
So wait 21 days.
I got you. So you have a 3-day waiting period. Okay, assuming then you do a 3-day waiting period, but you're 18, you can't buy a handgun at age 18, even after the 3-day waiting period, or can you?
No, you cannot.
Oh, so your legislation would just bring the AR-15 style weapons into harmony with all other handguns, including revolvers and shotguns, or
exactly. All long guns,